Have you ever considered being extremely vulnerable by sending your portfolio of life to a company during a job application? Well, allow me to tell you more about my job application, how it turned out to be a complete disaster, and how I became a senior associate. Perhaps you can be the judge of my competence, my expertise, and also my qualifications as a viable candidate for this life. You see, as a young graduate, I came to the world of work with the vision of life. And with this vision, I wanted to create a portfolio that would set me apart from all of the other candidates. I wanted the hiring committee to know that by not hiring me, it would be the biggest mistake of their life. Now let me give you a summary of my cover letter. Dear hiring committee, as a 39-year-old female, I would like to tell you how I see life. I would like you to also consider my unique portfolio. Firstly, I will be the head, heart, and hands of my own work. I will own my identity as me, for me, by me. I will advocate for social justice in every possible way. This is currently my highest skill set and also part of my signature skill set. I will be in control of my own C-suite. My creativity will deal with innovation and service. I will be an interconnected catalyst of change. I will bring something functional to the world, stretching beyond my egocentric needs. I will design and implement something beyond your imagination. But most of all, you need to listen up, because I am going to change industry standards and expectations on what it takes to be a viable candidate with a viable portfolio in this life. In solidarity, your lifelong applicant, Dr. Nicolene Preez. Looking back, I have to break it to you. I don't think my job application was successful. Somehow, my portfolio did not fit the job description. My portfolio was not current enough, and it was completely misaligned with the company of life's current mandate. You see, in this process of finding rejection and being unsuccessful, I had to devour it all by myself. I met fear and judgment as if we were old friends hanging out on the beach. And in that moment, I realized the brutal truths of this world and of this life. In that moment, my inner belief system about interconnectedness hit a complete pause. Actually, I'm lying to you. It hit a massive stop. I couldn't take it anymore. I couldn't take the next step anymore. I was confronted with so many truths, and they were all woven into the fabric of my existence. I had to deal with death and divorce in a foreign country. This left me isolated, scared, and alone. But wait for it. You know it was coming. I also had to deal with exploitation when I started up a business with a friend. And that business, it turned my life upside down. I didn't know which way to go, but I can tell you one thing. During that business, I realized that my interconnectedness is going absolutely nowhere. And as any hardworking, honest individual would know that when your passion and purpose gets taken away from you, you will suffer deep, deep. And I am telling you, deep identity grief, something that I did not know existed until it came knocking on my door, and I invited it for tea. Nevertheless, I somehow ended up as an intern on the brighter side of life. And during this internship, I was asked to create a DIY manual. And with this DIY manual, the internship said that I did not need any experience, no previous qualifications. I just had to show up. And I just did that. But also in this process, I realized that there was something missing in my life. Something did not match. As you can remember, those expectations that I had as a young graduate, something was still deeply, deeply missing for me. I did not know how to bounce back. For 13 months, I sat without a job. As a single mother back in South Africa, stripped away from my motherhood and my mental health, I did not know what to do. Sometimes, I became so tired that I could not even read the fine print anymore. I faded, and I disappeared within. The point I'm trying to make is that I was now back at the start, feeling even more like a miserable failure. Somehow, I have not yet been able to transform myself as a single mother with no income, no stability, within this very, very misconstrued reality, into the woman that I know I should be. It just didn't make sense, and I couldn't get my head around this. With my DIY manual, I decided, believe it or not, to give my application one more time to the tortured society of life. And believe me, it is a tortured society. And during this application, I wrote 2 words on my CV, only 2. Interconnectedness and belonging. And with my portfolio, I read the fine print within the job application. And the job application said, this is not a crash course. No previous experience needed, no reference letters, no cover letters, nothing. Just come as you are. A life portfolio will be an advantage. Training will be available on site as you go. And I thought, oh my goodness. Okay, one more time. One more time. And I arrived at the interview. I presented my portfolio. I felt a little bit insecure, and I felt a little bit overqualified, but I soon realized that everything was actually interconnected. I waited patiently until this day on the couch of my brother's house, because I have nowhere else to go. I waited courageously with my 16-year-old son. I waited silently, not knowing what would be next. And I'm sure, as expected, you all already predicted that the answer presented itself. And this time, I got the job. I got the job of self-transformation developer. And let me tell you, in a state of enthusiastic flow, I immediately wrote the DIY Manual 2.0 to make sure that I will never again enter this life with a portfolio that is not applicable, not good enough, not aesthetic enough. I created a portfolio that helped me reclaim my interconnected power in a life that I no longer wanted to live. a portfolio that guided me to be someone, the someone that I should be. The bottom line is, I now stand in front of you with my 9-part, signature, hand-woven, interconnected portfolio of life. I now know that transformation is inner development, and my portfolio of life is about courage. It is about empathy. It is about sense-making when nothing else makes sense anymore. It is about interconnectedness, complexity, integrity, and authenticity. It is about perseverance when you don't want to do it anymore, yet you find another way. And lastly, it is about communication. Communication in a world that is desperately in need of authenticity. I now know that the grace of interconnected transformation exists for all of us. And as a 39-year-old woman, I am standing here with you, and I leave you with 3 goals, 3 pathways, 3 aspirations. Embrace vulnerability as your strength. Leverage interconnectedness as your superpower. But please, practice continuous transformation, for it is fundamental to your own growth. Thank you.